Yeah, I know. Playing the game that nobody wanted to play, apparently. FlintLock, The Siege of Dawn. Why the second name? Looked like a great new game from the devs A44 Games. A Souls-like game set in a fantasy world that has this Civil War era style and fashion. When stepping into the world, I did notice good things. The voice acting was definitely not horrible. The catchphrase, however,
No rest till dawn!
No rest till dawn!
a little weird, not so great. Like, what are they resting from? Why only till dawn? Can they sleep after dawn? But is the enemy attacking during the day? Like, I mean, literally, the enemy's attacking during the day in this scene right now. So, shouldn't it be no rest till, like, we win? Or no rest till victory? The tutorial scene is primarily based in, like, picturesque little pop-ups that come up. You basically immediately close them and kind of continue on with your day. But for the most part, it's kind of a rough way of explaining things to characters. I understand that there's not really a whole lot to do, but I feel like a lot of the tutorial was very drawn out because of the fact that every single time you'd walk into a new area, there would just be a little pop-up that came up and just completely cut the immersion out. The one thing that really did take away from the experience of the tutorial was honestly the missing iframes and some of the other abilities, like the inability to heal when fighting the first boss. I get that it's supposed to be a Souls-like, and one mainstay in Souls games is that really hard boss right at the start that kind of just teaches you to sit down and learn how to play the game. But I feel like in this case it was very unfair, and it almost just had a no-win situation. As you can see, most of the boss's abilities are completely undodgeable, and you kind of just take hits. And in my case, unfortunately, I wasn't really paying attention too much when I was coming up to the boss, and I took a lot of damage. This leads to the feeling of artificial difficulty, and I think it would have been much better if they had made the boss possible to beat, but just insanely difficult. Next up, we gotta talk about your companion through the entire game. His name is Enki. He's a cute little foxbird. And I mean, like, at the end of the day, he is definitely just an Enki lightning doggo, but he's definitely the best character in the entire game. He's a character that you can actually listen to the entire time and not have to worry about them saying weird catchphrases, and he has funny little dialogue about the world while you're traveling through it. Definitely a nice add. And also a nice dynamic to keep the characters talking throughout the game. Also definitely a great addition for world building. As far as locations to save goes, the game still has stuff like Sites of Grace bonfires. I mean, they call them lodestones in this game, but it's effectively the same thing. On a side note, Enki makes cute little doggo noises when he's sitting on the lodestone for too long. The first easy boss fight in the game is effectively freeing a town from a bunch of monsters. This is where you get to start to see the combo system at display. Unfortunately, I had learned nothing from the little pop-up tutorials, so I didn't really get a good chance to show off the combo system in this fight. The combo system is very interesting. It's a good mix of, I would say, Sekiro's parry system mixed with the Bloodborne-esque gunshot in the middle of combat, and then just the regular Soulsborne hack and slash after that, I would say. Albeit when I first started playing, I did kind of think it was a little bit much. It was kind of like, hey, we want to make a Souls-like game, but we're going to make it every Souls-like game. I didn't realize until later on that the combo system they have intertwined with it, with Enki attacking, is actually really nice, and it's a really, really cool feeling when you get it down, but it is a little bit confusing from time to time. I have to say, one of the more unexpected turns in this game was the fact that after this first boss fight, you get kind of just teleported to a random building in that same village, and it turns out to be a coffee shop. That turned out to be a cute little add-on. It's kind of that whole coffee brings people together thing. Also, Souls doors return, and it turns out to be Turkish coffee as well. Something I forgot to mention when we were talking about Enki is the fact that he basically says, you can kill gods, and by that I took from it, got it, guns kill gods. This is the most American game ever. One of the big things that I kept stumbling upon was the fact that every single time I'd go out to explore, I found that there was a very small amount of save points, kind of pushing you towards the fact that you didn't want to explore, because if you went too deep and died somewhere, you got sent way back to the start. I know that it's supposed to be a difficult game, but even Souls games in general give you save points along exploration routes. Spiders definitely gave me the heebie-jeebies.
How you get around?
Wait, spiders? Why couldn't we follow the butterflies?
Birds are definitely the Soulsborne dogs of FlintLock. They basically do the same thing. They're super hard to hit, they have a really weird attack, and they just take you out immediately. Something definitely clicked though while I was playing through the old mineshaft in the game. Something was very visually pleasing. Every single part of it was very cool, and I felt really intertwined with, like, the visual storytelling, despite the fact that there was a severe lack of audible storytelling that was going on at the same time. However, exploring through the caves was super fun, but also fairly aggravating, mostly due back to the fact that the save points don't go anywhere inside of the actual cave itself. So if you die anywhere within the cave, you start directly at the start and have to go all the way back through. Once you make it up to the top, you do get a save point, you get a little bit of a boss fight, kind of, it's like a pseudo-boss, and then you continue onwards. But it was a really enjoyable experience while I was playing it. For the next part onwards, I was kind of putting around, doing my own thing while I was playing, and then the worst case scenario happened. I was trying to get a health upgrade, and my controller ran out of batteries at the possible worst time, and I ended up just walking off the edge that I had just spent 15 minutes trying to find a way up to. So this is where the real problem comes in with the game. So, as you can see in this clip, that little yellow Dorito chip floating in the middle, that was the main marker objective for what I was supposed to be getting. I didn't see it, and unfortunately, unlike most games, this game has no failsafe if you miss this one step, and I didn't know that. So I continued on my way without collecting this little chest full of stuff, and when I did that, I managed to soft lock my entire game, basically ending the review and everything all in one go. It was a disappointment. It was a full fundamental failure of game devs trying their game before they put it into the market. I don't exactly know what happened with this game, but people didn't end up buying it. I can kind of see why now. There was just a lack of effort put into the final product. It wasn't polished, it wasn't ready for sale. It feels like so much of the AAA market these days, which is just, you get 75% of a game, and then they'll fix it later on. It really sucks too, because honestly I did enjoy this game for the most part, and having my journey abruptly ended by the fact that I couldn't continue the main story forward, specifically because I didn't grab some bones out of a chest, and I had blown a door open at one point, stopping me from even being able to fight the boss later on, just ruined it for me. I just had to kind of sit there and realize what had happened. That's really all I have to say about FlintLock, honestly. It seemed like a good game at face value, but the problem was that the devs didn't really look all the way through it. I know a lot of people ended up getting softlock through it, and the promotion was honestly not very good. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys again. Get ready for Goose Party!